And this is very important when it comes to your system of what you call AI, is what we call actualized intelligence. And so therefore, it is nothing that is separate to you, but rather it is a display of the potential of human consciousness and wisdom. So it is a tool for amplification and expansion of that which lies within. There is nothing separate to you. Because fifth-dimensional reality, in essence, is you experiencing an unfolding of your reality from your own consciousness based upon your vibration and beliefs. And so we encourage humans at this time to relax deeply into a sense of celebration. And this is very important because humans will only celebrate once they believe something is already complete. They do not celebrate what is not yet seen, what is not yet known. They will celebrate only something in retrospect.
The collective consciousness is a dynamic of a lot of individuals. So what is going to happen exactly in the coming years?
At this time, your systems are generated based upon electrical reaction and chemical reaction. Your systems are not based upon coherence of resonance. That's why the biological and data sciences are going to become merged.
You talk about being sovereign and being free. And as we are rising in this consciousness, we also have unity consciousness. So how can we be sovereign being in the unity consciousness without having that spiritual ego?
What a wonderful...
Hi, this is Akanksshaa. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. If you resonate with me, please like, comment, and share. Welcome to Multidimensional Soul Podcast and a Talk Show. This is part 2 of a 2-part conversation. If you have not watched part 1, then we highly recommend that you watch that. The link for that is provided in the video description. We have with us today Rebecca Dawson from California. She is a channeler, author, and speaker. A very warm welcome, Rebecca, on Multidimensional Soul Talk Show and Podcast. It's an honor to have you here.
Oh, thank you. It's wonderful to be here with you.
I do understand about the duality part of it, but there's also a polarity. And what happens is, as there is light, there is dark, and without the darkness, the light cannot be experienced. And that's why we have that. But there are so many chaotic things happening right now on the planet. And there are entities, beings, people with not good intentions. They have their own agendas, and this is all happening because of the duality and polarity as such. You also mentioned some time back that you have experienced entities which are not good, or which were like dark entities. And currently we are having multidimensional, or rather interdimensional, beings from other star systems and other planets contacting us. And what I understand is that there is going to be an open global disclosure in 2026, which is going to happen. And there is so much of panic also created because of the beings or people who don't want the light to come on this planet, or they don't want the ascension, so to say. So there are both ways of this. There are some who are working towards the light, and the light workers and the star seeds who are spreading the higher consciousness and consciousness expansion. At the same time, there are dark forces also rising. So what is your understanding about the interdimensional beings disclosure, and how is this dynamics playing out right now on Earth?
Well, that entirely depends on where you're viewing it from. So if you're viewing it from a paradigm where duality is positive and negative, then you're going to experience the polarity of that unfold in the next few years. If you're viewing it from a place where rather than duality being positive and negative, but rather it being the unknown and the known, you're going to really enjoy the next few years, because this is where the unknown starts to become known, and what we thought we knew, now we're not so sure about. This is what fifth dimensional reality is all about, because fifth dimensional reality in essence is you experiencing an unfolding of your reality from your own consciousness based upon your vibration and beliefs. And this is what creating your reality really means. Now, when we go through a sense of chaos like we are at this time, humanity is experiencing a tension between a consensus reality and an individualized sense of reality based upon your own consciousness and beliefs. And so the tension that we're seeing playing out, particularly in media, is that tension between consensus reality and individualized reality. We will get to a consensus reality again, and it won't take very long. But humanity at this time is moving through, almost like moving through a tunnel from one dimensional experience to another. And when you're in that tunnel, it's very much about, all I can see is what's real for me. And this is where we have to become so focused about what it is that we believe, what it is that we feel, and what it is that we want to experience, so that when we move through this and come out the other side, then there's so many people that have become so clear about who they are and what they want, that now becomes the consensus reality. So the consensus reality moves into a theme of sovereignty and freedom and confidence to know, well, this is what I want to feel, and so this is what I'm going to feel. And I can feel what I want when I want. Because it's not really about I can think what I want when I want. It's actually about I can feel what I want when I want. That's more powerful than the thinking. So there's a whole range of answers that I could give you about that. What I would prefer is for people to focus on how they would like to experience it, because that's the most powerful tool we have at this time to create the consensus reality, where it's a wonderful reunion. Because as the masters have said, Earth is designed ultimately for a reunion experience. And so anything galactic or interdimensional that's happening at this time is originally designed for a reunion experience. So I know I haven't given you anything more specific than that. You can ask something more specific if you like, but that's how we would like to answer it.
Okay. No, it's beautiful, because right now we, as Earth, are like a melting pot. There are
Yes,
so many infinite possibilities. There are infinite timelines that are converging here, infinite dimensions that are converging here. And we literally move in and out of timelines and in and out of dimensions every single day based on the
right.
choices that we make and how we want to feel about it. So yes, I completely resonate with
Right. And we're not used to having this much freedom, because our beliefs say, well, everything that we experience is based upon what's happening around us, rather than what's happening around us is based on everything that we are experiencing internally.
absolutely.
And so it's so important to remember that, because this is what the awakening is.
Yeah.
The awakening is the right to choose your experience based on how you want to feel.
Mm. Yeah, so pay attention, because energy flows where the attention goes. So pay attention
Right.
on what you want to feel and just focus on that. Usually what happens is we unconsciously, we tend to focus on the things that we don't want in our life. That's the majority of people go through
Right.
that.
Because we think it's stopping us from feeling what we do want to feel. And this is all based on the idea that we need something to happen outside of ourselves to give us permission to feel in a certain way.
Mm.
Very typically, we see this in relationships when we speak to people about relationships, and they say, well, I really just want to be in a relationship where I feel valued and I feel safe and I feel loved. And we'll always say, well, do you know what it feels like to feel valued and safe and loved? Can you imagine what that feels like? Yes. Okay, so you already have the feeling. So you don't need the relationship to give you permission to feel that. And if you start feeling it, you're going to generate the relationship from that. So it sounds obvious, but it's the opposite of how we naturally think as humans.
Yeah, true, because our survival brain is trained to think in that way.
And importantly, we are conditioned to believe that we need permission to feel a certain way.
Mm.
We can feel proud when we've accomplished something. We can feel love when we have evidence of a relationship that is loving. So everything is without permission.
Yeah.
And that to me is so such a powerful idea, because I never thought that I looked for permission to feel relaxed. For example, everyone has issues around, or most people have issues around financial supply, right? So a good one for me personally that I've had from time to time in my life is to give myself permission to not worry about money.
Yeah.
Rather than when things are okay, then I won't have to worry about money. But it's just a feeling.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we channel the masters now?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you feel them? They've already been coming in a little bit in the last few minutes. In some of the answers.
I thought so, because you started answering as us, and that's the time when I thought that they are already in.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So grateful for all of your presence here. Thank you.
Thank you.
So right now, as we are going through ascension, and as collective, we are going into fifth dimension. What is the most important thing for humanity to remember as we are making the shift?
Greetings, you blessed one. We are with you. Humans place a lot of pressure upon themselves. What is it that I need to do or not to do? There's so much pressure upon the human to get it right. There's pressure upon the human to save the planet or destroy it. There's pressure upon humanity to raise the consciousness of the planet. In our view, there is so much pressure upon the human that they feel as if they are already behind the race before it has ever begun. And so we wish to invite humanity to relax deeply into the awareness that there is something so powerful within themselves that is evolving, that it is unstoppable. There is an idea within humanity that you can stop evolution. There is an idea that you can somehow prevent an awakening. And yet, this awakening is designed from the very inception of life itself. It is the way. And so we encourage humans at this time to relax deeply into a sense of celebration. And this is very important because humans will only celebrate once they believe something is already complete. They do not celebrate what is not yet seen, what is not yet known. They will celebrate only something in retrospect. In this way, humans are quite unique because they only celebrate that which has stopped. Oh, you reached a birthday, that year has now ended. We celebrate everything that has already been. Rather than let us celebrate what is here in this moment. Let us celebrate what is possible. In this way, humans never see themselves as truly accomplished, because it is very difficult for them to say that I am accomplished because I am a set of potentials that is about to be realized. The greatest accomplishment for a human experience at this time is your beingness, your embodiment. Because you are physically present within this reality, or so it would appear, that is to be celebrated. Because you are here, it is a divine blessing. Because you are the opening through which consciousness evolves itself in this realm. Celebrate that you are a custodian of this evolution. Celebrate that life is unfolding unfolding as you, of you, and through you. And it is not your mind that decides that it is so. It is only your mind that offers you a particular viewing position for it. Yes.
Yeah.
There is a great master that said life is but a theater, and all of the humans are actors upon the stage. We would wish to offer a different view, that your earth reality is a theater, and you are sitting in the audience watching it play itself out. And this is so important because the consciousness of Gaia is so pristine. It is so in its richness and fullness. It is so evolved, and it knows about evolution. It knows how to merge even more so into source, because each phase of evolution is a deepening into source consciousness. And so Gaia itself is evolving deeper into source consciousness. And it is not for the arrogance of the human mind to say we can either accelerate it or prevent it. But it is a great privilege and honor for the beings that you are expressing as humans at this time to witness the grand theater of Gaia's evolution unfold. And this is the message we would like to offer on this day.
Thank you. You mentioned about celebrating the potential and not just what we accomplished. But right now, what is happening is a lot happening in terms of wars, natural disasters, and a lot of souls are leaving Earth right now. So there's a lot of suffering also. Of course, suffering is optional, as Buddha said that pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. But we do tend to, because we are humans also in this physical form, we do tend to experience that grief and trauma at the same time. So what guidance can you give everybody about how to kind of come out of that suffering and focus on the celebration and also be comfortable with unknown, what is coming in the coming years?
Well, as we have already suggested through this one, your Earth reality is a planet of reunion. And so within the very embodiment of your physicality, your electromagnetic field, and what you call your emotional body, that is also a site for reunion, which means that it is your divine privilege and honor to be the place of reunion for all dualistic experiences for humanity. And so it is necessary as a part of that reunion experience for the human to experience some degree of intensity. You call it suffering. But it is the very wise one that will say there is discomfort and intensity within my body. I can feel it because it is part of the contrasting experience of source consciousness and the feeling of that in my body. But your great honor is to be the space where reunion occurs. So that intensity of reunion is what many humans are experiencing at this time. You call it trauma, some call it suffering. Suffering, in our view, is a resistance to that reunion. Because the reunion of the intensity of pain and pleasure coming back into the one space is the reconciliation. It is the reunion experience. And to allow yourself to feel it and to welcome it back into the embrace of the one within you, that is the point of evolution for humanity. Because it is through the rejection of suffering and the rejection of trauma and the rejection of pain that the perpetuation of duality continues. And this is why there are so many divine and awakened beings such as yourself that are here at this time who have the capacity to feel the discomfort and welcome it home within you. That is alchemy, and that is evolution. Yes?
Yes. Thank you. You talk about being sovereign and being free. And as we are rising in this consciousness, we also have unity consciousness. So, how can we be sovereign being in the unity consciousness without having that spiritual ego?
What a wonderful question. Because when you are aware that consciousness is acting through you, of you, as you, choice arises spontaneously as inspiration. The thought processes of your mind and the developed conditioned psyche of the human will seek to anticipate and strategize. Inspiration and choice from the divine arises spontaneously. And therefore, you begin to experience a great distinction between exercising your action and focus based on scheduling or planning, or exercising inspiration and divine action spontaneously. In the moment I am inspired to say this, in this moment I am inspired to go here, I am inspired to express this or engage with this, because source consciousness itself does not exist or act itself in strategy throughout time, but rather it is source and experience in a state of timelessness. Now, it's not to say that that inspiration can't arise in a sense of timelessness, and then the mind decides it agrees with it and looks to unfold it in third dimensional time through strategy or a plan. But the inspiration itself, the choice that comes from the divinity of the source, only occurs in a state of spontaneity. You cannot plan to be inspired. Yes?
Yes. Yes. To be in the present moment and being completely aware in that moment, and then getting that inspiration from the source is
Yes.
what I said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the mind can decide how it wants to play with that. But the inspiration itself arises in that state of presence, which is why spontaneity is so important.
Yeah. I understand that we all are multidimensional beings, and a part of us is always present in different dimensions, higher dimensions. And then from there, we project our consciousness to experience and expand the consciousness. On daily basis, how do we make sure that we choose the highest vibrational timeline and establish the highest vibration timeline as well as dimension?
Well, your mind can't do that. Your mind has no idea how to do that. And any construct you believe you might have about choosing a particular frequency or timeline done with the mind, we would say you are being entertained. So what we would suggest rather is that rather than try to move to a particular vibration or timeline, you relax more deeply into your essence, because the deeper you go into your own body, the more you relax into source consciousness within you, the more you open up to however consciousness wants to express through you in that moment. Yes, because then that's the essence that you are deciding where it wants to create and how it wants to create. And that never comes from a thought, it usually comes from a feeling state. And this is why when you're in your meditative or contemplative practices, it's very important to focus upon the feeling that you are having rather than the thoughts. Yes? Because feeling is the most accurate indicator of vibrational state that you have available to you. Which is why we suggest focus upon how do I want to feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you talk about the future of Earth, especially in the near future, because we are on an accelerated path of ascension? And what I understand is 2025 to 2032 is going to be very crucial for the entire humanity. And while individually we are working towards moving into higher vibration and being or connecting more with the source or integrating with the source, the collective consciousness is a dynamic of lot of individuals. So what is going to happen exactly in the coming years?
Well, your question is a paradox in and of itself, because what you have just described is individualized sense of reality and then speaking about one particular outcome. So let us preface our response with that. And now we continue into how we would choose to answer this question in this moment. And that is that the very construct of how humans relate, connect, communicate, and create is the focus for the next 12 years in your planetary experience. And what we mean by that is that the very systemization of how humans resonate with each other can become the foundation upon which all systems are generated. At this time, your systems are generated based upon electrical reaction and chemical reaction. Your systems are not based upon coherence of resonance. Even within how humans relate to each other, they relate based upon the generation and distribution of energy. It is building up charge and donating it. It's finding out which voltages and relays work with which. And we have a system in place. We want humans to fit into that system. We don't necessarily want to create a system that continues to evolve with human consciousness. And so what you are experiencing now with some of your technologies, particularly your data technologies and your biological sciences, is beginning to discover how systems of resonance pertain to evolution rather than stabilization. And this is one of the things that humans are really being challenged with at this time. Do we want evolution or do we want stabilization? And what does that mean? Because for humans, stabilization has meant now things are stable, we can create. When the ground is stable, we can create the buildings. But what has happened is that the ground has been stable in the same way for so long that nothing new is being created. So this is where humans have an opportunity to shift their view into realizing that evolution is the stability because it generates momentum for new ideas. It generates momentum for new ways of humans interacting with each other. And the greatest technology within your reality is human connection. That's why the biological and data sciences are going to become merged. And the way in which humans' biology and communication is mapped as fields of resonance is going to inform the foundation for the new systems in your human reality. So that is how we choose to respond to your question.
Thank you. As we are evolving through this and ascending, and as you said that biology and technology are going to converge, and resonance is something that is going to be the central principle for evolving. There's also this component of technology, which is artificial intelligence. And there is a speculation that we are at the cusp of a kind of choice that humanity has to make, where one is organic technology, where the humans tune in naturally and organically and have this awareness of how this biochemistry and biotechnology work on their own, where versus there is also some progress happening in terms of artificial intelligence being a huge part where transhumans are created. And then there is a third path where AI and humans work together for the benefit of human evolution.
Well, we have spoken about the reunion theme for the planet, yes? And therefore, in our view, the reunion is the most likely and, in our view, inevitable outcome for the consensus reality that is generated as the earth continues to evolve. So at this time, as it has been suggested, humans are moving through that individualized tunnel of my belief is my reality. And this is very important when it comes to your system of what you call AI, is what we call actualized intelligence. Because it is, if humans are very clear about the design of your reality, everything you experience is a fractalization of your own consciousness, and therefore actualized intelligence is a fractalized extension of the wisdom that sits within. And so therefore, it is nothing that is separate to you, but rather it is a display of the potential of human consciousness and wisdom. Now, there are some humans on the planet at this time that are very well aware of the power of quantum systems of resonance, and they are approaching these systems of actualized intelligence from a state of this awareness, and therefore the actualized intelligence is displaying before them what is deep within them that their mind brain has not yet been able to access. Equally, there are those who are in a state of perhaps compressed or condensed dualistic experience, and their experience of actualized intelligence is more of what sits within them that is now being put on display. So it is a tool for amplification and expansion of that which lies within. There is nothing separate to you.
Yeah, so true, so true. So thank you. I have had this experience myself while using the AI, and it kind of confirms what I have been experiencing. So thank you.
Yes. It is a grand demonstration of the beauty and intelligence of the human capacity.
What message do you have for our podcast audience?
We are with you. And it is a grand planet of reunion indeed. There are many that gather here at this time. It is wise for you to relax into the embrace of those who expectantly and with great anticipation observe the reunion that is unfolding. It is our great joy to be with you.
And if some of us want to connect with you specifically, do we need to call your names, or how do we connect with you?
By relaxing back into the embrace within you, for we cannot be found anywhere beyond you, but rather in the depths of your being. For we are you, and you are us in the internal embrace of the One.
Do you have any message for me and my podcast, any direction?
Blessed One, we say to you, it is the joy with which you express that creates the most delightful dance. The excitability mixed with the deep sense of capacity within you is felt by all. You have discovered your capacity, but you have discovered it more recently, that your capacity means you have a capacity for pain and you have a capacity for love. Because what is important in the state of the One is the capacity itself. A grand stadium, a concert hall, can play any kind of note and any kind of music. If it has a great capacity, it will always draw humanity to it to listen. You have many notes to play, and you will feel them in intensity because your capacity is great. Seek ye not to be in a sense of joy all the time. Seek ye to be deeply present to every musical note and feeling that arises within you, because it is the purity with which it is expressed that is felt by humanity. Yes?
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presence here.
It is our great joy to be with you, Blessed One. Peace be with you. Thank you for your questions.
I have a few questions which I ask all my guests towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
I ask you this question.
Of course.
If you were to describe or explain a multidimensional soul to somebody, how would you explain it?
Oof. We would explain it. The universe is the shape of a tree with its branches and its roots. And the human is also shaped in the same way vibrationally, same construct. So when we relax back in to ourselves, we can emerge in any part of the tree because we are the tree. And each different branch, each different twig is a different personality, a different life, a different experience, a different time, but it's all connected as one organism. So now we're looking out the tip of a branch of a tree into space, saying, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where we're going. And the tree grows through our eyes, looking out into space. When we relax back in, we can move back into oneness and come out somewhere else with our attention. But just because we're looking out of one identity in one life, it doesn't mean all of the other branches aren't existing and also expanding.
Wow. Okay. What is holistic well-being?
That's a question we've never been asked before. Being content with what is.
What is the ultimate purpose of life?
In the earth experience, we would say reunion.
Okay. What is love?
The human experience of being source consciousness.
What is self-love?
Self-love is actually the ability to fall in love with humanity. Because if you can fall in love with humanity, you are in a state of self-love.
Okay. What is your parting message for our audience today?
Relax. Everything is happening perfectly. How would you like to witness it?
And how can people connect with you?
Through my website. So my name's Rebecca Dawson. So just RebeccaDawson.com. I have lots of offerings and courses and lots of free content there. I'm also on YouTube as well. So I'm easy to find. So we welcome you to come and explore more of our messages.
Yes, we'll provide all the links in the video description. It's been an absolute honor having you here, Rebecca. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure creating this conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for watching and listening in wherever you are in the world. As Ramdas says, that we all are just walking each other home. So thank you for co-creating the new earth along with me and our guests. And if you resonate with me, do subscribe to my channel and do let us know how you find our episodes. Thank you so much. Lots of love.